You know that you thought this was Detective Pikachu 2. Like, that's what everyone was thinking. Oh, we heard the game is still in the works. Here's this guy. He's creeping around at night. It's real people, maybe even an ode to the original movie. And what the heck just happened, my friends? I just woke up. I watched the Pokemon Presents in bed because I thought it'd be pretty low-key. And they just dropped Megaton of the Year. Nobody saw this coming. No one, myself included, thought it possible that Game Freak actually was making a bigger game. That Game Freak actually was using Pokemon Legends Arceus as the smaller 2022 game. It literally gives me chills, so hit that like button if you're excited that Gen 9 is here, and there's so much good stuff to talk about because Pokemon is really evolving. Like, we thought that Legends Arceus was the evolution. Scarlet and Violet really seem to be the next evolution. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. This trailer was expertly created. Everyone thought Detective Pikachu 2. Everyone thought a spin-off. I mean, they went through so nice and slowly. They really lulled you with Pokemon Cafe Remix and Pokemon EX Masters and Pokemon Go and a little update for Legends Arceus. No big DLC, just 1.1, and then bam. Here comes Scarlet and Violet back to the color scheme, and let me tell you, these games have the best starters in generations. These starters are incredible. I want to get to know them. I'm telling you, that military duck and that red potato thing, man, that's going to be a hard decision. And I know a bunch of you are all about that grass kitty fox thing, looking all sorts of sweet. They confirmed this is a seamless open world. So Legends Arceus had you traveling around like the style of Monster Hunter, right? Region to region. Go back to the base, out to the region, load screen. No. Gen 9 must be the A-team. Like, now there's a world where Pokemon Legends Arceus was a strange experiment to get to learn open world and more 3D stylings of the Switch. And this is actually the game that all of the talent, all of the time, all of the effort has actually gone to. It's mind-blowing. It looks amazing. Now, I know there's going to be people that do talk about the graphics because some of the scenes and some of the draw distances and some of those more exposed environments do look basic in comparison to open world games that we see releasing in 2022. But let me tell you, this is coming out in 2022. They do have time to tighten up the graphics, but it already looks better than Legends Arceus. I think the detail and the variety with the cities and the... Oh, I'm seeing the starters again. Aren't they so fun? Which one are you picking? Let me know in the comments down below which you're picking. I feel like this is going to be the hardest choice in years. I love that they went Scarlet and Violet. It's so freaking fun, and it feels like a throwback, yet going forward. Gen 9 feels like the game we were supposed to get on Switch. It almost makes me think that Sword and Shield were experimental. Sword and Shield were carryovers from 3DS. Sword and Shield were games that, you know, they needed to put out to keep Pokemon relevant. But it's Scarlet and Violet that I think really is what they wanted to do on Switch. It seems like Game Freak has been building towards this Gen 9 with Sword and Shield as sort of the first step. And then Legends Arceus, the second step. It's mind-blowing to me that these steps have come so close together, right? Sword and Shield to Arceus was a decent gap, but Arceus to Gen 9 is no gap at all. This is dropping late 2022. That makes me think it's going to release in November, since that's the month they always love to use for Pokemon. And previously I thought and heard rumored that maybe there'd be Let's Go Johto, maybe there'd be a spin-off, maybe Detective Pikachu 2 would release in the fall. And Game Freak's like, no, we're keeping the lights on all night long and working to give you the next biggest Pokemon this year. It makes you wonder what's really the state and status of Zelda, but that's a whole nother video. All right, let's talk about the actual footage because they did show gameplay and I think it's very impressive. I don't think anyone's gonna have the feeling that we had when we saw Sword and Shield where we're like, okay, it does look better, it does look new, but does it? Right, it still seemed like it retained the look of the handheld games. And this clearly is going for a much cleaner, a much more, I'd say like vibrant and, you know, higher res, or at least as high res as the Switch can give you, Pokemon experience. And the fact that it's seamless open world, the fact that there is a lot of verticality, the fact that you're seeing shots like this where it's like, okay, that's a whole land. And I gotta say, if you've been playing a whole bunch of Pokemon Legends Arceus, you know that this looks more impressive. You know that this looks more further along like the graphical timeline, and there's a lot more diversity because they are putting in tons of different buildings, and that shot right there of Psyduck with the rain to me is the best looking shot. Meowth looks nice and all, but it's Psyduck out there with the rain that I think if you look at that image looks really good. Now, they do note in the bottom corner that gameplay and visuals and stuff are not final, and I do think they'll tighten things up to look better, but I don't think we're going to be getting, you know, Horizon Forbidden West or anything like that. The fact, though, that they do seem to have a lot more geometry, right? There's buildings, there's going to be probably gyms are back, right? There's houses. This scene right here is absolutely beautiful. The laundry and the line don't look that great, but inside, like, that's the best house we've seen, and you can tell that I think this is really fun to me. Like, it is utilizing better graphics, fully 3D open world, but it's in the mainline style, and it shows that, like, the Hisuian region was a very specific artistic choice, and I applaud that. Like, I like the style they went for, but this is really trying to be the evolution of the Pokemon you grew up with, right? This is really trying to be the Pokemon that, like, hey, you played red and blue, you played yellow, you played gold and silver, you played, you know, all the way up, sun and moon, X and Y, and now this is the newest. It really seems like a hybrid graphical style that is combining sort of the pieces of Sword and Shield with, honestly, pieces of Let's Go, because there is sort of that vibrancy and maybe that, like, it's not trying to go for photorealism, right? Like, it's trying to go for a hey, this is the Pokemon cartoon come to life. This is the Pokemon world as you imagine it. And I do appreciate that they are going with that, you know, more like, hey, it is a game, right? We're not trying to do, well, we can't do realism all that well on Switch, and that's not what Game Freak's strong at. But I think the way that this came about is so interesting. And I cannot wait to learn more in terms of the region, the map, what all is going to be different. And I would bet that there are more unique features here than in either Legends Arceus or Sword and Shield. Again, Sword and Shield was clearly the precursor, right? It was like, okay, we have the wild area. And then quickly they jumped to, like, Legends Arceus has real big wild areas all tied together via load screens and fast travel. And then they jumped even faster to Scarlet and Violet, just like, no, seamless open world. This is clearly what they've been going for, and I would love to get a behind-the-scenes tell-all of how Game Freak did this. Like, I think Legends Arceus was the B team. I think Scarlet and Violet are the A team, dropping in November, and I bet the Pokemon Company, Game Freak, and Nintendo are thrilled that Legends Arceus hit as huge as it did, because it seems like Legends Arceus truly was a spin-off. You know, we talked about it as this is a big next step. We always knew that the Legends franchise was kind of going to be separate from mainline, but it felt like that was like their big moment. And yet this seems to be an even bigger moment, and that's just mind-blowing for me. Like, no one expected this, and to get this revealed in February, what else can the year hold? I mentioned Zelda. Is it still going to come? Because if it does, a fall that includes Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 and another evolutionary step for Pokemon, I mean, they will not be able to keep the Switch on store shelves. And we'll discuss it in GMM this week. I wonder if Nintendo is plotting, that scene still looks good, it was plotting a Switch Lite OLED. They love to launch things alongside Pokemon and have Pokemon be the game that takes you to a new piece of hardware. I could surely see them deciding that they were going to drop some new piece of hardware. I'm not saying a 4K Switch, I'm not saying a Switch Pro, but a light OLED feels like a possibility, and to do it alongside Gen 9, it would make a lot of sense. But let's just enjoy the fact that we're floored. I love that the early year Direct had so many surprises, like Mario Strikers Battle League just blew everyone away. Nobody predicted it, and no one possibly called this. Nobody thought mainline Gen 9 was ready to go, and it seems like it's going to be the best adventure yet. Cannot wait to play this on Switch. Isn't it the greatest Nintendo system? All right, let's go. 3 cheers for Nintendo, 3 cheers for Game Freak, 3 cheers for the Switch. The stellar system, the best place to play Zelda, Mario, Pokemon, and pretty much everything else. This is insane. Are you Team Scarlet or Team Violet? You got a lot of time to decide, but not too much time because it's out this year. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed and got as excited as I did by this amazing announcement. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure to hit that like button if you're pumped for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Let me know what you're picking in the starter choice in the comments down below. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. I love you a lot. SwitchForce out.